Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Pint Bros. I'm your host Robert, and on a continuous journey of visiting every brewery in Southern California, we're out here in the city of San Dimas, checking out Burning Bridge Brewing. They're giving us an exclusive tour. Let's go check them out. All right, guys, I am joined here with the head brewer and owner of Burning Bridge Brewing, Ruben. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate it. So how long has this place been here for?
We've been here for 2 years, actually. We just celebrated what would have been our second anniversary this past weekend on Labor Day. It's technically when we officially opened, but we're not celebrating it till the end of this month in September. Okay. Hopefully it'll be cooler by then.
Yes. Wow, this heat wave's crazy. What made you guys decide to open up a brewing company out here in San Dimas?
We're bored during COVID. No, this was a brewery before. I know some people know that. We don't know. This was a former location of Feathered Serpent, who actually just opened in La Puente a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, it's kind of funny because the bridge in Burning Bridge is actually a reference to La Puente. That's where I grew up. Okay. And so like the fact that we bought it from them and now they're open in La Puente, it's just weird, like kind of synergy that we feel we have with them. So, but yeah, 2 years we opened here because it was available. San Dimas, we grew up in San Gabriel Valley, so we're very familiar with San Dimas. It's a city you drive by when you're going to the fair. But we're here for 2 years and the community has been pretty stellar and accepting to what we do, which is a little different, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very cool. What would you say is something unique that, Burning Bridge does for either the beer community, the individuals here in the community? Is there anything that you would think?
Unique to us, and this is not like a knock on anyone else, but just try to be authentic as best as we can. Yeah. I'll say this a million times that one of the best compliments we've ever got here is someone coming in, a regular coming in and being like, man, I really hate your music, but I like coming here. So I like to think we're unique and it's a cool spot that people can be themselves, come hang out. We're kind of off the beaten path. Like we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. And people still come. We had karaoke here last night. It was 110 degrees outside. It wasn't that cool in here. And we still had a pretty good crowd. So, you can say we're doing something cool and unique.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So right now, currently, how many beers do you guys produce?
Right now on tap, I believe we have 11, 12. We do a lot of stuff with our seltzer. So we make a very clear seltzer base and then we mix it up. We don't flavor the kegs, we flavor them after. Okay. But because it's essentially like carbonated alcoholic water, it lets us do other stuff with it. So like we have, we do this thing called Rage Water, which is our take on ranch water, right? Which is like Topo Chico, tequila, and lime, but we replace the tequila with our seltzer. We call it Rage Water because Raging Waters is right there. It's just right out center of the world. And then we also do, what's the other drink that we do with our seltzer? Oh, we do a Coke seltzer. So we take like a can of Coke or Coke Zero and mix that with our seltzer. So it's like half and half with a little bit of grenadine and some cherries on top. Yeah. So it makes alcoholic Coke essentially. So
I like that.
So that allows us to kind of expand on the menu. Yeah. Because we have 14 taps here. I think right now we're at 11 or 12. We have a couple beers that we just put in our walk-in that we're saving for our anniversary. Like one of them is a Kool-Aid watermelon chamoy sour. Oh, wow. We have a pumpkin spice ale that should be hopefully on tap at the beginning of next week. But yeah, right now we have like 11, 12 different beers.
Now, do you guys rotate flavors, beers, or do you guys have like a set amount that always just kind of your flagship kind of?
It's kind of now 2 years in, you kind of know what the audience wants around here. And the cool thing from our standpoint is like people really like lagers around here. So it's cool from our standpoint because A, they're a little bit cheaper to make, and B, you can drink more of them, because they're, let's say 4.5%, 5.5%, versus like an 8-9% double IPA. So lagers do real well. Our best selling beers are Pilsner, telling lies. But we just got some Rawaka from Freestyle Hops that we're really excited to play with because it's like the newest crop beer, so they're like super, super fresh. So generally speaking, our IPAs, we rotate as best as we can to, highlight different hops.
Yeah.
Our lagers, we kind of keep the same, or we just add on to them.
Gotcha.
Seasonally, there's probably going to be like a Schwartz beer this winter. There's like a dark lager for the winter time. And we try to keep something seasonal. Like I said, we have the pumpkin beer coming, so seasonality is there. But we have 14 taps to fill, so it's cool. Constantly rotating.
Yeah, awesome. So let's try out some of your beers.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so this first one that we have here is your Pilsner.
Yes.
So we'll talk about it.
So this is going to be our we're talking about by sales, this is going to be our most popular beer. Probably the one that people, if it's not on the board, our regulars come in and are like, why isn't that available? I'm like, because you guys drink too much of it. And it takes time to really make it right. Yeah. So it's very simple. It's I would say more of a German Pilsner than a Czech Pilsner. I definitely don't put German on there because I don't think it really falls under the classic German Pilsner category. But it's very simple grain bill. It's all Pilsner and a little bit of white wheat. That's all we do. We put white wheat into every beer we do because it just really seems to help with the head retention is what we found. And it's just a few different types of hops that we use. We use Northern Brewer and Blanc on this one. So it really helps give it a nice little bit of a bitter punch, but you also get a lot of floral notes on it too. And yeah, just cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah, this is just straight up beer.
Yeah, it's really crisp on the tongue.
Yeah. We like to dry it out. We do a thing called a step mash that helps dry it out. We learned that through trial and error, like in our process. And now every lager we do, we'll step mash.
Yeah.
That's just like taking it to a couple different temperature steps to help really extract that sugar, help dry it out at the end. I like my lagers dry. I know that's not everyone's preference, but if I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it to my my preference, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly. No, it's really good. All right. So, second one, we have a Mexican lager.
Yep. So this is Asesinos. It's our first attempt at a clear Mexican lager. We've had a Bonita, which is our amber Mexican lager, on tap for a while now. So this one we put out maybe about 2 months ago. Asesinos named after the song by the band Los Crudos. Okay. So most, if not all of our, probably like 95% of our menu board has a reference to some band. Because it all ties in with the music theme. So it just kind of made sense to name this Mexican lager after a Crudo song. Yeah. So it's a little bit of Vienna, a whole lot of Pilsner, and a decent amount of corn, of flake corn. This one's more traditional with the hops. It's just very traditional German noble hops. The names, I can't remember what we put in here. I just know they're very traditional. But yeah, we've got a good response. So yeah, let's try it. Let's check it out.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah, so you get that corn there. You really get that corn that cuts through. I know we went pretty heavy on it. When we first put it on tap, it was quite bitter, but that died down in the last 2 months. That's why we try to make sure that all of our lagers sit in the tank for at least 4 weeks. Now, based on production and need, that's always going to be, here or there, depending on how much we can keep it in there. This one, I think we kept them in there for 5 weeks. and then we kegged it. And the thing is, our tanks, we can't get them cold enough because our glycol just isn't powerful enough.
Okay.
So normally we will keg all our lagers and just put them in the walk-in for like a week or two, and they just tie in so nicely once they hit that like 32, 33 degree temperature that we have here.
Oh, that feels horrible. All right, so the last one that we have here is your IPA.
Yeah, so this is our newest IPA. It's called Wayfinder. I'm sorry, Wayfair, not Wayfinder. That's the website, I think. It's Wayfair, named after the one of my favorite hot water music songs. So this it's bittered with Warrior, and we put Citra and Nelson in the Whirlpool, and then we dry hopped it with Citra and Nelson. So you're gonna get a pretty good bitter punch on it, which for my money, IPAs need to be bitter. I mean, I feel like there's been this thing about like not making very bitter IPAs. Yeah, like they're not IPAs at that point. No, there's something else.
Sure.
But I feel like with this one, you do get a good amount of like stone fruit. You get a little bit of pininess. You get a little bit of that perfume from the Nelson. A little bit of that dankness. We didn't use any of the newer hop products, whether it be Incognito, Keef, or Cryo hops on this. So the aroma doesn't really pop as much.
I was noticing, actually, it's not as aromatic, but the flavor's there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason for that. Pretty happy with it. This was a little bit of a different grain bill. We added a little bit of Vienna to try to get a little bit darker. It's still a little hazy because it's so fresh. I mean, we just kegged this on, I want to say Wednesday.
Okay.
So it's just fresh out of the tank. It's the freshest beer that we have. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. And the reason, like I said earlier, we rotate a lot of the IPA stuff is because we want to try different hop combinations. We want to like start figuring out, okay, what pairs well with what hops work well with what.
Sure.
And so far, Citra is the king of all hops. Like it pairs well with everything. But this Nelson Citra pairing, I'm liking a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
I'm a big hazy and IPA kind of guy, so this is really cool. This is awesome. Well, Ruben, I really appreciate you, allowing us a little behind the scenes tour of your place.
Sure.
And trying out these awesome beers, so if you guys are out here or just coming by the city of San Dimas, even coming down after Raging Waters or anything like
right off the freeway, I can see the freeway when you stop.
Yeah, and actually I'll throw in some aerial footage right now to show you that the freeway is literally right behind this place. So if you guys are out here in the city of San Dimas, make sure to come down here and check out Burning Bridge Brewing and tell Ruben, hey. So thanks again, Ruben.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye.